Death may be a morbid topic of discussion, but it is an eventual certainty for each and every person. You may not know exactly when or how death will come, but that's all the more reason why it's essential to get your affairs in order, no matter how old you are. Abby Schneiderman sees the consequences of not planning ahead firsthand. She works in the field of life and estate planning and is all too familiar with the mess that's created when a person dies and there are no set directives in place. Schneiderman is the co-CEO of Everplans and the co-author of the book, In Case You Get Hit by a Bus, How to Organize Your Life Now for When You're Not Around Later.
We hear stories all the time from people who were left to deal with the fact that their spouse had made no plan, or they had made plans, they had a life insurance policy, but had never told their spouse about it, that they didn't do a will. And, now the family is left searching and searching and searching for one just to find out that there was never one in the first place. When you don't plan, you leave a lot to chance. You leave a huge amount of stress and anxiety and decision-making for the people who are left behind, and potentially a lot of fighting. And it creates just an unnecessary burden that doesn't need to be there.
It's estimated that in the U.S., around 60% of people do not have a will in place, according to the American Association of Retired Persons, or AARP. This lack of direction can create a months- or years-long mess for family members to sift through, sometimes leading to bitter court battles and permanent rifts.
It really is important to sit down way ahead of time, think through all of the different aspects of your life that would need to get communicated to somebody else in the event of an emergency. What are your wishes? What are your healthcare wishes? If something happens to you, who should be making decisions on your behalf? What kinds of decisions do you need made? Make sure that people know those decisions ahead of time, and all sorts of other decisions that we help you think through in this book, so that in the event of an emergency, your family is not left thinking what you might have wanted. They know what you would have wanted.
It's never too early to put a medical directive and will in place. Schneiderman notes that if this past year has taught people anything, it's that life is full of the unexpected and can take a sudden turn at any moment.
The whole world was sort of hit by a bus in the form of a pandemic. And everybody, knows now that we just don't know what's going to happen next. And it's really, really important that you plan ahead so that in the event that something does happen, in the event that your family needs access to critical information, even practical information, that they have access to it.
A will is a legal document that lays out the individual or people your assets will be distributed to after your death. This can include any property, cars, mementos, and more. It's also critical to have your medical wishes made clear ahead of time in the event that you're incapacitated and can't communicate. Should you be resuscitated? Do you want to be on life support for an extended time? These are important questions that are difficult to think about, but necessary. In addition, it's helpful to create an easy-to-access list of the people that should be contacted in the event of an emergency.
We get you thinking about things like, who are the important people in your life? Are there any specific people that would need to be contacted in the event of an emergency? Healthcare providers, people at your office, neighbors, friends. Who are those people in your life? And just make sure there's a list of that somewhere.
Beyond the traditional preparation of a will or medical directive, it's important to also think about your digital footprint. Who would be in charge of getting into your social media accounts? Should they be deleted within a certain time frame?
If you're somebody who has an account, whether it's hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars or tens of dollars, just make sure your family or somebody in your life knows what you would want to have done with that account in the event that something happens to you. The average person today has over 130 online accounts. That includes everything, all their different online accounts. And it's supposed to go up to 200, I believe, this year. And so if you think about that, yes, social media accounts, you have to just think about all the different types of accounts that you have. And each one of those, by the way, requires either an email, a username or password. And first of all, make sure that you're keeping track of those accounts somewhere safe. We highly recommend using a password manager. Our favorites are companies like Dashlane or LastPass. I use both of those personally. But when we say digital assets, we're talking about everything, including hardware and software. And this includes your phone, computer, or tablet, as well as everything else online or in the cloud.
It can be overwhelming to go through the many accounts and passwords we amass online. But it's better to spend the time now so that your loved ones have all of the info they need and a clear set of instructions in front of them to carry out your final wishes. Does your partner or a close family member have the passcode to your phone? Or the login for your email and bank accounts?
We're trying to get people thinking about what are the practical things that are in your own head or that you're the one who deals with in your household, that if God forbid something were to happen to you, that your family would be, in a bind without knowing. And so we get you thinking about things like passwords. What are the important passwords to services in your life that somebody needs to know about? Do you have a phone that has an unlock code? What's the unlock code to the phone? What's the unlock code to the computer? Just little things like that can have huge impact. Next is, what are your top financial accounts? Do you have a primary checking account, a primary savings account that just somebody needs to know that you have?
Lastly, Schneiderman says to also think about how you would like to be remembered. This can include your final wishes, like the funeral, as well as the little things that you would like to leave behind for loved ones, such as personal tokens or the small joys you yourself enjoyed in life.
We help you think through things like how to personalize your plan, how to think about things like recipes that you want to make sure get passed down from generation to generation, or songs that are important to you, or videos or photos that you want to make sure your family has access to.
People spend a lifetime building assets, interests, and relationships. These days, there's also an entire online footprint that holds valuable info and memories. As important as building a life, it's equally important to preserve and protect this legacy through a legally binding will. To learn more about this topic, our guest, Abby Schneiderman, and find resources for end-of-life planning, head to viewpointsradio.org. To see more behind-the-scenes content and support our show, follow us by searching Viewpoints Radio on Instagram, X, and Facebook. This segment originally aired in April 2021 and was written by our executive producer, Amirah Zaveri. Our studio manager is Jason Dickey. I'm Marty Peterson.